Quarter Barrels. You can hear there's a bit of ambience in the background with the kitchen. There's a few other things going. So if you're listening, you'll just be able to realise that we're in an actual brewery for the first time. First time ever in an actual brewery, doing an actual podcast on the actual brewery. So we're very excited. But we're here in beautiful Mount Beauty with Mountain Monk. So we're very excited. So we've got Mick, Anthony and Steph from Mountain Monk, and we're just going to do a few tasters and just talk through some beers, and we've got one exclusive towards the end, which we're pretty excited about. So welcome, guys.
Yeah, g'day guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, no worries at all. I'll pass over to Grazzi because Grazzi's itching. He's itching to chat.
He's hosting.
No, Simon's got the radio voice, and everyone knows that. Obviously, we tried to do this once a couple of weeks ago, and things happen, and that's fine. But I'm so excited, and I was so keen to come back. That's why I messaged you as soon as I can to try and get this back on the road. And I think as well, as I've told you guys, I only knew about you existing from seeing a lady at a park wearing the Mountain Monk shirt. And I noticed the words Mount Beauty and craft beer, and I was like, okay, this is pretty exciting. I should ask a couple of questions. And a few months later, here we are on site. We've got tasting paddles. You guys put on lunch for us. It's incredible. So thank you, first and foremost, before we get into everything.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Now, really, just if you guys want to introduce yourselves individually and tell us your roles here, and I guess the journey, or like in a shortened form of how we came to be here today with the beers you've got on tap.
Cool.
I guess Mick, and all three of us brew. Probably at the moment, Punky and I probably do the majority of the brewing. Stephanie's getting into it now. I think it was 2017. We sort of took over this place, and at that time it was just it was an old country club. So we sort of took over the place. I think it was in early 2017. It was like a pokey sort of traditional sort of country type of setup. We had a different vision for it. Obviously now we've got a brewery and things, and we've always had that vision, but getting there has taken us, quite a long time to get there. So
especially with COVID in between.
And COVID in between didn't help us out too much, and crazy prices from importing brewery equipment from China and things like that sort of set us back a fair bit. So, but we got there in the end, and
yeah, it's good fun. I'm Steph. I'm actually Michael's wife. I'm German, so I always loved beer. And so when
you were telling me about kids' beer before, so
they do have children's beer in Germany, but it is non-alcoholic, so I must add that. So I started drinking beer when I was really young, non-alcoholic beer. But when Michael mentioned to me, he's like, "Oh, I would love to do a brewery, and let's move to a country. Let's do this." I was actually quite keen, to be honest, and that's where we met Punky, Anthony. We call him Punky, sorry. So so he started with us as soon as we opened a brewery, I think. Yeah. So that's
Yeah, and I'm Anthony Brewer Gray, or Punky.
Punky,
where does Punky come from?
That's his actual name. Brewer is actually
surname Brewer. A cricket nickname, Punky Brewster. Punky. So there we go.
Show,
And I'm an 90s lad, so 90s music I love. I've known Mick and Steph for a while, and mainly Mick and brother Steve through cricket here at Mount Beauty, and they started talking about opening up a brewery, and they knew that I don't mind a beer, and I don't mind my home brewing and stuff like that, and had at the back of my mind ever since we had that first conversation. You guys mentioned about opening a brewery here, and I've always loved coming to this venue, and I went to my wife, I'd love to be involved. And am I brave enough to leave my day job to come and take this step? And then last year I just approached them and said I'd love to work and brew with you guys, learn from Mick. His uni course he's completed for a year in craft brewing, and they straight away the boys just said, yep, we'd love to have you on, let's get it happening. So
we're pretty much both novices on a commercial scale, so you can almost call us like home brewers, sort of, with a big bit of kit, trying to work out how it all fits together and how it all works. So
so all three of you mentioned that we're here in the West Peak Hotel, former country club, as you mentioned, Mick. So when you guys took over the place, was there always the intention of being a brewery? Was it like, we're going to take over the West Peak and we're going to create the brewery, or did that come after you looked at it and went, oh, this would be an awesome brewery?
No, 100%. No,
Yeah.
so, sorry, 100% always wanted to do. Notwithstanding, I didn't know how to do beer on a scale like this, like home brewer, that sort of stuff. But it was always the intention to be a brewery. It just took us a long time to get there. Take baby steps. Do a renovation at the front of the pub. As you can probably tell if you've been out the back area, the old country club, sort of old, older style, 70s Drury type area. Wanted to freshen it up a little bit for the community and things like that. In the kitchen, we got some pretty good food coming out at the moment. We got some really good people in there working with us. And then the next step was to do a brewery, and it took us a while, like I said, but we got there in the end, and we sort of kicked off at the end of last year and sort of just trying to get our processes right and make some nice clean beer at the moment.
You're definitely doing that, and we all had a beautiful lunch before we started recording this, so you're spot on about the kitchen. Baked potato with grilled chicken, can recommend. Now, of course, our podcast structure, we're usually trying beers and discussing them.
Yeah.
Fantastic treat today to have the brewers of the beer that we're enjoying. So you guys might be able to talk us through some of the tasting paddles that we have. And I think we've all tried a few already, but we've got two more here that we haven't tried yet. And the first one that I've sipped, and I think maybe you did as well. No, you've gone in the wrong order. Oh, that's okay. I started with the lowest ABV, which I believe was the dark ale. So if you guys want to just talk us through that particular beer, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're quite inspired by White Rabbit's dark ale, so we didn't want to replicate that.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yum.
Cheers.
Sorry,
Thanks.
I got
Thanks,
over it.
Simon.
That wasn't. I'm not even taking the piss out. It's delicious.
Yeah.
As soon as I put my nose in there, I'm like, oh, chocolate. Let's see what else is there. So
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
Oh, ripper. Yeah, well, that's
It's
what we're
really
after.
good.
Just that impact of yum from the tastes. We wanted something that wasn't too in your face. Like we all love a big porter, such as Bridge Road's excellent robust porter. We're really after a sessionable, easy drinking, dark. Got some chocolate, coffee character, lingering malt flavour, and we've had our challenges with this brew, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with fermentation, learning about grain
Hence
bills
the
for
novice.
dark yeast. Yes, yeah,
You can learn anything at TAFE or uni or whatnot, but when you put it into practice and try and get it going, I think we probably pitched. We underpitched.
Underpitched our yeast for this
to start off with. So,
What does that, talk about novices, we try to learn as we go along, but what does underpitching a beer in this case actually do to it? Does this mean it's undrinkable at that point, or does it turn out completely different to what you had intended?
Well, what happens is you think you put enough yeast in once you've brewed your beer, but the yeast will only chomps through so much fermentable sugars in the grain until it's like, well, we're exhausted, we're stuffed. It's like St Kilda during the fourth quarter last night, unfortunately. We're absolutely done. We need more substitutes. We need substitutes in. So then, hence, Mick and I helped the beer on a bit more with a little bit more yeast during that fermentation process to kickstart it again, and that's where we're at today. So the next dark that we've got in our Fermenter 3 right now, we know what yeast, how much we need to
changed up the
out.
recipe a little bit, so that it gets there in the end, and probably pitched changed our yeast up, and then obviously pitch enough so that all the sugars get converted to alcohol and get down to the gravity that we wanted and the alcohol content at the end of the day.
It's only 4%, is that?
Yes.
That's right, yeah. And
Yeah.
there's such a rich flavour to it. And these beers, you mentioned the Bridge Road Robust Porter. I think that's still only around 5%. It's not overly boozy either. But I think if we make jokes about blind tasting beers sometimes, and I think if you put this in front of me as a blind tasting, there's so much rich depth of flavour behind it. I could nearly say it was more than 4%. So creating the illusion that there's all that extra sort of beef to the beer.
And there's no cabs in Mount Beauty, so people come into our place, we want them to have a few beers, and they can't drive home and things like that. So we're not going too crazy.
And that's something that we're trying to achieve with most of our beers, that people can have a few different ones, try them, and still be, in a good state. possibly, and that's something I've noticed in other countries as well. Like we just recently been to Ireland, for example, and they love their stouts, but they keep them quite low in their ABV, and that's just something we try to aim for as well.
Yeah. No, of course. Now, we don't have on the tasting paddle the pale. Obviously, that was the first beer brewed. Was that the beer that... Well, whose recipe was that? And was that something that...
Yeah, I sort of... I've always... one of my lecturers at TAFE was Richard Adamson from Young Henry's. And I really love their Newtowner beer. So it was like a beer that was it's a pale ale, but it's still got that bit of it's got a little bit of a malty kick in it, not too overboard, but a little bit in it. That sort of was the inspiration behind that one. He's a really good fella and awesome brewery down there in Newtown, and that's sort of where we're going.
Oh, they're favourites around Australia, I think.
Yeah,
so
they're
great person,
great.
sort of.
Actually, as part of my course, I did like 2 weeks in there, brewing with the guys down there, and it was really awesome.
So where was this course? Like you've mentioned it a couple of times.
It's a TAFE course at uni. It's a year course, and I did it while I'm still working in my normal job. You sort of go there at night, do a few hours there at night, but then also there's placements at different breweries. So I can't remember all the ones I went to. I went to the Australian Brewery. I went to obviously Young Henry's. Might have been Batch. And 3 or 4 others during the Akasha. Yeah. They're really cool. Big hoppy beers. Those guys. They're pretty cool.
Love their beers.
But they're all fantastic people in the industry, and I really enjoyed it. And
That's awesome. Now, that's the only beer currently available in cans, and it's mostly local area at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So our local food works just across the road. Very easy for deliveries, and also at Harriettville, there's the Hotel Motel are trialling it in cans at the moment.
And we've got them in Melbourne too, though.
Yes.
There's a bottle shop in Melbourne.
It's South Bank there.
Yeah.
The name escapes me. It'll come to me later.
Yeah.
Steve.
I'm sure Hudson's shop's there.
We
at some
haven't been
point.
going too hard on it, so we haven't with the marketing and selling. We haven't really, like I said earlier, we're trying to get the beer right, fresh. We've gone out there a little bit because we've got a heap of cans out the back, so we want to sell some around the place. So I think that's probably the next stage where we're canning on the 1st of August, I think it is, Punky. And we'll have a few more beers and we'll take them around and try and get it out there a little bit more. But it hasn't been our focus at the moment. The focus is learning our equipment, brand new equipment, trying to make sure we know how to use it, make nice, clean, crisp beer. And be happy with our beers, and then I think that's probably the next stage for us is to go out there and sell it a little bit more.
Yep, nice. Well, I know there's some word of mouth already around Albury Wodonga from a few people that have at least seen the logo or have heard about it and mentioned it. I know some other brewers from town we've spoken to are certainly well aware. I'm not sure if they've made the trip up here or not, but so there will certainly be some interest when we start seeing it sort of spread out a little bit more. No, that's awesome. Now, Hudson, I think this is your question. Question 5.
Yeah. Okay, I'll read it.
Refer to question sheet.
So Mick, you're in a recent interview with The Crafty Pint.
Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the name stemmed from the history of beer and the part that monks played in beer.
Yeah.
And how it started.
Stephanie's the German, I reckon.
It's okay, this is directed to
I think I was the
Steph.
one telling the story too.
Yeah.
So monks were pretty much the first people
Except
to
for the Egyptians.
Fine, but you know what Germans are like. They always want to be first and everything. In Germany, so they had all those breweries happening in those monasteries, and that's something that we've seen even visiting different monasteries when we're doing our trips in Germany. And obviously, I'm from Germany, so I've seen it a few times as well. And it's just something that we found we're inspired by, and that's why we thought, something to do with monks would be pretty cool. And since we're in the mountains, be mountain monks. So, but
Yeah, we're a little bit like that ourselves. We're from Sydney and the city. Move to the country, become a little bit more monkish, and get away from that. Get away from the big smoke, and get down here ourselves.
So I guess that leads to the second part. Have you guys got plans to do like a traditional kind of monk brewed beer or that style? Like I think you mentioned the Augustina Brow directly in that interview. Is there something like you want to do something like that in the future? Or?
In future, possibly, yes.
Yes,
but I
definitely.
think we're not quite at that stage yet. Although I was talking to the boys, ideally what I really would love for September, October is a Märzen beer or something like that. Like a traditional Oktoberfest beer would be fantastic, or a wheat beer. Punky makes a really good wheat beer at home, and I'm sure he can make a really good wheat beer. And the brewery as well, so
we're
we would
planning,
love that.
Nick and I are planning on brewing a wheat beer ready for end of September, Oktoberfest time.
Yes.
But we've been looking up, reading, researching and talking with Sam as well at King River Brewing Company with their amazing doppelbock, so to get a bock happening next year. Yeah.
They're super into their Belgian styles at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah,
Now,
certainly.
One thing that instantly you notice, whether you can see the name Mountain Monk, is the little monk logo on the shirt, and that's the first thing I certainly noticed. And of course, behind us here, beautiful little backdrop, which is fantastic. Who's going to get the tattoo first, the three of you? Or has someone already done it?
No, not yet.
Punky, go on. You're the only one without tattoos. So
One of the rare ones in my immediate family that doesn't have tattoos.
that's it. That's the way to go.
Might be the first.
Could be, yeah.
It's
But
pretty
you
cool,
two have got
Punky,
some
I
tats.
reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a
That's
couple.
awesome.
I got a couple.
That could be
I want my small biceps. I don't know.
Now we, as a pod, we love the can art and the visual design behind all the beers. How was the experience working with Leah Hume Creative, which I saw was on the Instagram page? I think she's done most. Is she probably going to be something in the future that will work with her with other releases?
Most definitely. She's super talented and lovely young lady. My sister as well. And hey, Leah. So we've engaged with her for all sorts of other artwork pieces for the interior of the bar too. So a mural for the Monks brewing beer, the process of brewing from milling the grain right through to packaging. And this wall here, we're planning on a northeast Victoria map that Leah Hume Creative will produce, and then we can highlight breweries and distilleries around our local region.
Oh, awesome! Much like the Good Shed was something similar as well, which is obviously a favourite of ours. So awesome.
We bring this up every interview because it's so interesting and we love it. So you mentioned it's going to be a northeast brewery and distillery map. We just think it's really cool how craft breweries and all that sort of thing promote each other, and that you're not just putting up the northeast Victoria and it's got Mountain Monk and no one else up there. You'll have everyone up there to do the sort of trail and do the pilgrimage. How important is it to you guys to sort of collaborate and shout out those other breweries?
I think it's something quite unique to the brewing industry. It's something I really found when I was on my brewery course, actually. So, for instance, I can't remember what the breweries were, but there were two breweries close by, and I was working at one, doing some work experience there, and there was one up the road. The guys had run out of a certain type of hops. They cruised up the road to the other dudes, and they said, "Yeah, no worries." It's like everybody's supportive of each other. And I think it's more of a, it's the smaller local breweries and breweries, microbreweries, sort of against the big CUBs and the Lion Nathans and stuff who have got a monopoly everywhere. You know what I mean? So there's no sort of in industry, there's sort of a competition between, people in a lot of industries, but you don't tend to get that in brewery type situations. Not that I've found anyway. Everyone's sort of supportive of each other, and trying to get people into the regions, our main focus. It's like if you've got 2, 3, 4 breweries in this area, you're more likely to get people to come to this area, you know what I mean? And they'll go and visit all of those breweries, not just yours. So the focus is on getting the tourists in and then supporting each other and creating a really robust and really profitable and supportive industry.
Well, we've seen it work for wine for so many years, like wine regions, and in Australia, of course. Pretty blessed with a few spots and some quite close to where we are now. There's no reason why it can't work with the breweries as well, as you mentioned. But it is unique, as you said, because it's such a competitive market, but the people involved in that market are just working together, it's just really cool. Yeah. So I think I think they know generally the consumer, like us. I'm sure you guys as well, who like to drink good beer. You're always trying to find new stuff and expand your horizons. So you're not necessarily just married to the idea of one brewery and just sticking to that, like a lot of CUB drinkers, as you sort of might be generalising a little bit, but yeah.
But that's something that I found as well. Like early on in the brewery course that I did, my lecturers, they didn't need to be uni lecturers to make to pay their bills. They did it because they saw that some breweries throughout Australia they didn't have their right processes and things correct, and so they targeted a course at brewers who were already in the industry. Come in and then refine their product and make them better brewers and hence produce better beer for the industry. So I sort of learned that early on when I started this journey.
Nice. Now we moved on to the after the beautiful dark ale. I know Hudson's got.
Pick the beer that I'm drinking.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Well, I jumped into the Mountain Monk IPA, which, as we were learning a little bit about beforehand, was maybe a little bit accidental. So, do you want to talk us through that beer and the process that led to what it is today?
Yeah, I think it was one of our early beers, and I was sort of after more of I like big, IPA, citrusy IPAs, and I was brewing with Neil, who installed our brewery, and he's a master brewer. So he came in and he was doing our first brew, and I had all of the bags set up ready in the brewery, ready to go. And I had a 25 kilo bag of Cara Munich sitting in the corner, and the idea was to get 5 kilos out of that and put it in the mash. And so I obviously hadn't told him beforehand, and he's poured the whole thing in. So we ended up with more of a big maltier sort of traditional British style beer rather than sort of what we were after. But I think we adjusted it on the fly, and it turned out okay. So
yeah, there's almost I think Simon pointed it out before in our first taster. Almost like the rich malt at the start is almost like the toffee malts you might find in like a red ale or a red IPA for sure. Yeah, except it doesn't necessarily pour that colour, not quite. And there's the lingering bitterness as well that you realise you're drinking an IPA straight after. But no, that's awesome. And you have mentioned not trying to go too far on the ABV just yet. So this one sits at 6%, I believe. Yeah. So is this something you think if in the future you may have mulled over it a little bit, if you're ever looking to do bigger beers, would using the base of perhaps this beer, for example, to do like a double version or a more beefed up, hoppier version of this particular beer?
We haven't really thought about it yet. We sort of haven't really gotten there. We sort of haven't really talked about really big beers yet. We're sort of just, I don't know.
We're keen to, for one or two on our tap, I suppose, because we're really driving like this sessionable style, low ABV, hence, like I said, designated drivers, and in our town with no taxi service, and our amazing beer garden for those warmer times. We're encouraging people just to be able to just sit and chill for a while and socialise. But yeah, Mick and I, we're keen to try one or two, big thumping beers.
We're looking at maybe down the track, sort of getting a smaller pilot system, so we can do our main sort of stuff and then try some funkier, sort of bigger, bolder.
I would love you to make
small batch releases.
Stout.
Yeah, things like that, and then see how they go, and then if they work out really well, then put them in the bigger system.
Yep. No, awesome.
But that grain bill there, that could help us out for sure.
Yeah,
with another type. Yeah.
Do you find, I guess, being in a venue like this one, where from the outside, some people may see, oh, cool, West Peak Hotel. Perhaps they might think it's just a run-of-the-mill country pub, and they come in and they see all these beers on tap. I suppose that must play a part in, at the moment, as you said, having things that are more sessionable. You might not have a taxi service in town, but you might get people in here that aren't expecting craft beer on tap. So then you sort of are, in a way, catering to those people to a point as well. So you don't want to necessarily be like, here's an 8% IPA, jump in, when they're at least drinking lagers, for example. Yeah.
That's right, and that's why we've got a few easier drinking beers on tap as well. So something we've done for the locals of Mount Beauty and the surrounds in particular, we created a draft beer because funnily enough, one of the first things we've done when we started a brewery was take off cult draft, and that was not, not ideal for everyone in here. So we wanted something easier drinking for the locals, and they're quite appreciative of that. And now they're like, "Whoa, when is it coming in cans? Because we want to take this stuff home." And that's like really good, like lovely feedback.
But still, you can't convert
that.
everybody.
Of course not.
We've still got those.
We're not gonna.
Dead set against. I think it's too clean for them.
Yeah.
It's like
But like you said, the people that don't expect craft beer in a venue like ours, and there's also people that, you know, are used to having all those sort of standard beers sitting on the tab. I think you need to have something for them as well, and that's where the draft comes in, and even some of the, you know, I think we might even do another lager at some point as well.
Until we can convert them down the track to trying
To
different
drink
stuff.
IPAs,
Well,
for example.
I think it's awesome coming in here because I did make an assumption. I saw all the taps up the front and I was like, oh, the other taps must be down the side kind of thing. But I love the commitment that you've just got all your taps, and the punters are like, well, we're missing draft, so like, oh, we'll make you draft.
We weren't sure, and but at the end of the day, you know, it's not commercially viable for us to, you know, with spending all this money on this system and not have, you know, pretty much all of our beers on tap. It just doesn't work.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I'm so glad that you've done it because the people that come to the place, it's like, I'll try something.
But
new.
you know, we still appreciate the people who come in here, like our locals. So
Absolutely.
our guys, you know, we know a couple of our guys, they'll just drink VB. You'll never convert them.
Yeah.
So we'll have a couple of slabs of VB out the back.
Yeah.
And they'll come in and they'll have it.
Yeah, fair
You've got
enough.
to work with people.
I reckon over time you'll get them based on the couple I've tasted
There we
so
go.
far. I reckon you're on. Hutto.
Cheers, Simon.
I haven't got anything. Oh, okay. That's it.
If I can say, for those that our local drinkers that we go, oh, they're a bit shell shocked with Carlton Draft off tap, and then we put our own draft on. They've tried that, but then it's been really pleasing to see some of those locals go to, oh, I might try your Pilsner. That's a similar.
Yeah. I've seen it a lot.
Is that a similar
actually,
style?
lately.
As they've learnt now that drafts, Pilsners, the same
Lagers,
sort of lager style, and so it's been really pleasing to see and hear about.
You're
that.
teaching them about beer, whether they like it or not. They're learning. They're learning. No, now you guys were at the Darker Days Festival.
Yes,
Right.
over at Bright Brewery.
How was was that the first festival?
That
you
it
guys have
was.
done? Yeah, how was the
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, real buzz.
Yes.
We were thrilled. And shout out to Bright Brewery, Scott and the team there, were Laura Gray, we were just really appreciative that they gave us a go.
And very welcoming too, I must say. Yeah.
The brewers and Scott as well, the owner there, would approach us straight away when we were over on Darker Days, had a good old yak with us for a while, and we felt very welcome, and it was a real buzz and
Really
very
positive
exciting.
feedback as well on the IPA, and we're pretty happy with the day. It was a good day.
Well, that was going to be the next question. Yeah, how was the feedback? Obviously, you'd be nervous regardless, but was that
Yes.
the only beer?
Yeah.
You guys took? Okay, yep.
So we had the Econaut IPA in there, which is the next one on your pedal, I think.
Yes.
Sorry, but we had great feedback on that actually, which made us really happy.
Had a couple of drinkers come up to us and say, "Oh, I see your shirts. I'm drinking your beer right now. This is lovely." And because, as you said, a bit nerve-wracking. You know, we're brewing a beer that we're going to take over for all these visitors and other. Darker Days attracts a number of brewers, even if their stalls aren't there. There's local brewers and brewers that travel from Melbourne to go and experience the festival. So we're happy to have a crack and
we
get
had
ourselves
nothing
out there.
negative. You know, no one said to our face, but you know.
So Equinaut is a hop that I'd never heard of before I saw that you guys were using it.
Punky actually introduced. He goes, smell this one. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. He goes, let's put that in. And I said, okay, no worries.
Well, I was going to ask because how'd you pick that? Because it has, from just quick reading, it looks like it has a similar hop profile to a lot of your citrus-based hops. Obviously, the more popular ones being Citra and the like. So, how did that one come up? And you were like, this is the one.
Well, all year after brewing the first very toffee malt driven IPA there, Mick is really inspired, and I really enjoy their brewery, their beers as well. Ben Spoke Brewing Co.
Cool. They're crankshaft.
Crankshaft IPA, stunning. And Mick's like, I really want to brew something similar, the citrus orange style happening there. And researching that beer, and I went, oh, Equinaut, never heard of that hop before. Gave it a try, and went, wow, we've got to feature this in a beer. And so it just went from there, really. Mick developed the grain bill, and we ordered in a heap of Equinaut and mixed it in with the Yakima Valleys from America, Citra and Simcoe. Centennial for some bitterness at first there. Yeah, and went from there, I suppose. Yeah, and I'm really pleased to see Mick just because I was in New Zealand holidaying with my family at the time there. He's gone big on the dry hop. Yeah, just dumped kilos in.
Went reasonably big on the dry hop. Not as big as some places go. I still didn't want it to be overbearing. Some people just won't drink IPAs because the hop in there is just so. It's just so big. Yeah. So we wanted to, strike the balance between, being an IPA, but not too overbearing.
Yeah, cool.
It's probably my favourite on tap at the moment, actually. Yeah. The Econaut, out of all of the ones we've got.
Yeah, probably mine too.
We've had up asked us 2 weeks ago about the hops. We would have had no idea. We recently tried Mountain Culture released a few single hop series, and so we learned about Citra and Simcoe and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool hearing like those alternatives. Like the Equinaut hop.
Oh, there's so many out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm actually terrible. I love the smell of hops. I love it. Like, we've got bags and bags obviously stored in the cool room, and every time we said, we have to open one up to brew, it's like, it's just so good. You can really, from the smell of the hop, you kind of can sort of anticipate what the flavour's going to be. So that's when you mentioned that you're learning a lot about the hops from a single hop sort of beer. I think, another option, if you have hop available, to smell it. I think that's something I'll...
What you could do, you guys could do, go and drop in a Cheeky Peak Brewing in Wodonga and just ask, can I just sniff your containers? They got like 20 different hop varieties there you go. And you can just open up lids and get your snoz in there.
And then you can compare it sort of to beer you've been drinking, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not sure how they will feel about that. So.
I think you've landed on... this business will take off, I'm confident, but I think just as something extra on top, maybe... like air fresheners in hop flavours. Maybe that'll be
hop
presented
candles.
by Mountain Monk. Yeah.
Hop candles.
Yeah. Anything.
Yeah.
Just not bathroom air fresheners. They worry me. Like vanilla can get ruined after a while if you associate it with bathrooms. I find. It's like okay.
The smell is trying to hide.
Yeah. Let's not. Yeah. No, let's not do that. But But anyway, this beer is sensational. It might be my favourite as well. I think it's hard. You don't want to sound like I think these days the kids call it being a basic bitch. I don't want to sound like a basic bitch and say that, the IPA is my favourite, but it's a fantastic, tasty beer. So, I think the dark ale, there's so many good things about all the beers, but it's absolutely nailed this one.
Yeah,
so,
I really like fresh, citrusy beers. I like that they just, you can just drink them all day.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely delicious. I really like that one. Probably, I don't know if this is really going to be a question in order, but it's just come up. So obviously you've got the big system out the back there, but if you want to sort of try something out, try a new hop, is that still a try it at home, see if it's viable, and then switch it over to the bigger system, or?
Yeah, here and there. There's I'm quite nervous about brewing our first hazy, so I'm just developing that in our in Mick's Grainfather that I've borrowed, 20 litre batches.
Whereas I just say, let's just do it.
Mix all out.
I'm just listening, and we've done that a few couple of times.
Oh yeah,
we're just doing it.
It's a mixture of both. Yeah.
I'm sure it'll get to a point. It'll get to a point where it's like banger after banger after banger, and you'll just put it straight in there. I wondered about that because you're like, that's a lot of beer to drink if it's sort of, doesn't work out. But no, absolutely fantastic.
We did that with the sour actually because we had a sour. It's not on tap unfortunately at the moment. It's gone.
It's finished.
But it was just
it's a good thing.
It was just a straight sour. No additions or anything in there, and we didn't know how to make a sour. We worked it out, and it turned out okay. And Punky didn't want to make a big batch of it.
No, I was going, if I'm not doing a 20 litre batch, can we just do like a half batch and mix it? No, full. I said, no, first one, please. Come on, all right, we're compromised. We went sort of maybe 2/3 full. And it turned out well, and that's going to help us as a base for our, we're really keen on our fruit sours. So, that's...
Over summer.
We've got plans for a number of fruit sours. Yeah.
So what is the turnaround on a beer here? So from the day you start the brew to having it on the tap here, what's the usual turnaround?
I'd say to be 3 to 4 weeks for an ale, and then we've gone for about 2 months for a lager style. So it's definitely our pilsners. Yeah, we've gone say 8 weeks to 9 weeks from brewing through to packaging and on tap. Yeah, we're not rushing the beers. We know we've got our deadline for the canning on the 1st of August, which we've been big on production, especially last week. But especially beers like a traditional pilsner, we want to really get that right, nice and clear. Give the beer enough time to condition out. Yeah. So I suppose that's the ballpark there. Yeah.
So the IPA is probably a month.
Yeah.
Something like that, and then the pale ale as well. Try and turn those around in a month after like a brew day is only the day, but to ferment it out and make sure that it's got no off flavours, and you clean up all those off flavours and get your temperatures right and ferment it all out. It's a month for those ones, but a bit longer for the lagers.
Yeah.
Now, I've noticed the beers, so in the Equinaut as a really good example, there's some other hops in there, but the front and centre is the Equinaut. This is what we're focusing on. Most of the beers are mostly just named out. It's a pale, it's an IPA, it's a dark ale. Yeah. Obviously, we're in local business, still mostly on tap. You've got the pale in cans. Has there been any discussion yet about, okay, if we start to get a range of stuff out there canned, are we looking at, for example, using some creative names to sort of promote the beers? Or are we still sort of like keeping it sort of like, this one's a dark, this one's a pale, this is Mountain Monk, this is who we are?
We sort of started there, and we had some crazy names and things like that, and then we put ourselves in a person who goes into a bottle shop and has a look in the fridge. And I think sometimes you can go in there and you have a look and you see all these names and you don't actually know what sort of beer it is. Yeah. People go in there and they go, I want a pale ale, and it's like, which one's the pale ale? I can't see it, you know what I mean? So we sort of,
had to back a bit.
That's what we wanted to do. But I think, like you're saying, so say we have 3 IPAs down the track or whatever, we obviously have to differentiate those, and we'll probably look at it there. But we're actually looking at more of the punter going in and having a look at what those beers are.
Yeah, what you see is what you get.
And that's what Punky just said. So we're looking at doing some fruity sort of sours at some point as well. So obviously, depending on the fruit that's going in, that's the type of sour it's going to be. So it might be, I don't know, watermelon sour, raspberry sour, passion fruit sour, whatnot. And the same with the Pilsner. We've got 2 Pilsners on tap at the moment. One's just the Pilsner, it's the first one we've done, and then we've got a German Pilsner as well. So, it's just,
but we had some local
but we're
names
trying
there at the
to
start.
keep it simple at this point, I think.
I suppose, I got on board, and Mick and I talked about this, and we were both straight away in agreement. Let's make it simple for the consumers. We don't want to confuse people. However, like the Garage Project in New Zealand, they've got some awesome names for some of their beers, but for us, especially starting out,
it's funny you mentioned Garage Project. I swear they have a few beers where they've gone the other way and they don't even tell you on the can what the beer is.
Yeah.
I reckon I bought a Happy
I've
Sessions
noticed
beer
that.
once that just said Happy Sessions Volume 2, and it mentioned some hops and it had a blurb that didn't really say much. I'm like, okay, I'll take a gamble.
I think it could work for beer nerds who go into who go in and buy stuff, but the average punter, is they'll find it hard to go away from, I want a draft or I want a pale ale or
I think in particular with Garage Project, their tagline is try something new, so that you're expecting, you're like, this
that's
could,
the whole thing.
This could be anything, and it's mostly delicious. I have to tell you.
Which I like as well. I love their beers actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to run through each one of you guys and just quickly ask, what's your favourite beer style?
Ooh.
Or if you were a beer style, which one would you be?
I would have to say a Pilsner for me.
Okay.
From Czech Republic.
Okay.
Nice.
That would be my beer style.
Yeah, cool. All right.
I'm big on the stouts, so
Stout.
give me a stout any day.
Now, I heard Imperial Stout. You're hoping to make an Imperial
I would
Stout.
love them to
over
make
there.
an appearance. Not me. No, they will have to know. But I would
good
love
call.
to do different type of stouts, and saying that we've got to be careful and obviously what we're going to produce. We've got 8 taps. We don't have unlimited taps either, so I can't really put 4 stouts on there. But if it was for me, I would have 4 stouts on there.
There you go. No, awesome. I'm a fan of an Imperial, so keep hitting that button. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I really like it Gosa.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
I've tried quite a few, and I really like it. We're gonna try one.
Yeah.
Not quite yet, but we will get there.
Yeah. Well, I know Well, we've tried a couple from Akasha, but they do quite a few gozes up there, and they're pretty delicious, aren't they?
Yeah.
So the thing with that salt water.
And coriander.
Yeah, coriander.
Okay,
That's
there
the
you go.
traditional,
Yeah.
but obviously people mix it up and put other
Yes,
stuff
of course.
in
You're
there.
going to have to go traditional.
But we
though.
like when we start, we like to go traditional to start. So like with the sour, we just want a flat sour. So
Yep.
we get it right. And I think when we do our first one, it'll be a traditional one, and then we might play around with it after that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, cool. Very interesting.
I'm going to put them on the spot a little bit, another brewery, but you mentioned the Imperial Stouts. We developed, which is through this podcast, a really good relationship with Hargraves Hill.
Okay.
Speaking of those guys, and they were nice enough to send us a couple of their Russian Imperial Stouts
Ooh,
and the
nice.
bourbon barrel aged one. So
Ooh, yeah.
if you guys doing an
Barrel-aged one
Imperial
would be
Stout
amazing.
and you need any advice on it, I'm sure if you reach out to those guys, they'll be more than happy to help.
There you go, Mick.
Yeah.
Mick is real keen on the getting some
Barrel-aged.
wooden barrels out there,
Yes,
barrel-aged
same.
beers down the track.
We want to get some agar plates and go up into the hills up here and capture some wild yeast and stuff as well
Oh, yeah.
later on. And we sort of want to make a real local sort of. That's where we want to go.
Yeah. Oh, there's a joke in there about, like, is it like Pokemon Go on your app? Like, how do you catch a wild geese? Is it like getting Pokemon? But, like, I don't know anything about Pokemon, so I'll get all the terminology and the puns wrong, so we won't even worry about it. You mentioned, like, you guys did you play cricket together?
Yeah, Nick and I for
Not
Mount
me,
Beauty.
just us two.
No.
Mount Beauty United Cricket Club. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know much about cricket coming from Germany?
Well,
I see some highlights from
She
the
loves
European League.
Funnily
I tell
enough,
her I put it on, and when I'm going to put it on, she goes to bed straight away.
come on. No, funnily
Right in the
enough,
middle
our
of the
daughter
Ashes.
plays cricket, so I'm actually helping Punky's wife to teach the kids sometimes. So
Nice.
I know
Yes.
enough about cricket to show the little ones how to play it.
Yeah. My
But
wife and I,
just the really little ones.
my beautiful wife Bronnie and I, we coach the Woolworths Blast.
And they do an
Oh,
amazing
yep.
job.
Yeah, little kids in
Yeah.
Mount Beauty, and Mick and Steph help out there too. Yeah, so Steph's learning more and more about
That's it.
the amazing game of cricket.
Yeah,
She
love it.
would never
love it.
experience enough in Germany.
But how do you find, like, I know at my footy club, the guys that like craft beer come and speak to me under their breath in the corner. They're like, I really like craft beer as well. Because, there's still...
It's the same. I think it's the same.
Yeah,
I'm wondering,
is it the
100%.
same
We've got
for
a
you
few
guys?
blokes. We've got a few blokes who, and then you got the other guys who only drink cold and draft. But
Yeah.
we're lucky enough to have a few of the guys who
Yeah.
and
Tim
they've helped us
Hall's
out.
really
I
good.
think I was talking to you earlier, and they've been sort of providing us constructive feedback. The guys who actually know about beer, and it's been really good.
Yeah, nice. And I know one of the classic country footy tropes is a slab in the winners' rooms after. Have you been down to the footy club at all and thought, here's a pale ale, get on the guys, if they have a good win, just give it to them and let them
I think
expand their
we
journey a
might
little
do
bit.
that this year. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I reckon
Yeah,
so.
we didn't have the cans last
Last
season.
year,
We'll have them
no.
this year, so
Yeah.
we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to bring those pale ales cans into the change rooms, we might all join the footy club as well. So, nice little signing bonus.
bonus.
Numbers
Now,
are handy. Yeah.
Just some little fun questions, just sort of wrap up the pod. You guys are in charge of creating a beer and music festival. You've got to pick 3 breweries and 3 bands that aren't Grinspoon. Who is a Grinspoon fan?
Well, both of us.
That's not me either.
Grinspoon's fine, that's fine. So if you're picking 3 breweries and 3 bands for your festival, who are you reaching out to and asking to be there?
Go on, Nick.
No, I don't know. I definitely Tool's my favourite band, so I'd be going.
I immediately thought of Tool. Yeah.
Maybe
We're already there, so
maybe Queens of the Stone Age.
Yep. We play that a lot in the brew house.
Yeah.
Corn?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Stephanie
come on.
loves Corn. Stephanie
Let's get
loves
Steph
Corn.
involved
Maybe
too.
Corn.
Yep.
We saw them a
Stephanie
few years
Corn.
ago. They were awesome. That was really good. So.
All right. So we got Tool, Corn, and
Queen's Stone.
Queen's
But
Stone
let's
Age.
say if you had to go someone Australian, I would try and get the Super Jesus in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, local lass too. Yeah.
Yeah, Grinspoon,
Super Jizz.
Jebediah, and who else would we go Australian?
Oh,
Jesus.
Spot. Would
Spot
Spot
Bait.
play their
Spot Bait.
early
We'll go the
stuff?
Bait. We'll go the
As
Bait.
long as they play their early
as
stuff.
long as it's their early stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe regurgitate it,
Yeah.
Like your old stuff better than your new stuff.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about after this. Just let you know.
Can you organise some of them for us?
We'd love to get them out here.
Oh,
And we haven't even talked about the beer yet.
Yeah,
so-
no, you're exactly right. Well,
Haven't said the breweries.
what's that?
Haven't said which breweries.
yeah.
Well, yeah, no, we haven't. I'm sorry, I got excited about the music part. Yeah, so
enough too.
I'll pass back to Graz.
What do you reckon, Punky?
Get Ben Spoke in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would definitely
One
want
out
to
of
get.
three?
Yeah, I would definitely gonna get the Young Henrys in, but only because I spend so much time there in Sydney, like probably every week.
We're in Newtown pretty much every week.
Yeah.
And my family went to Young Henry's on recommendation of
Yeah,
Mick
I
and Steph
love that
before we
place and
flew
I
out
love their
to
beers.
Sydney Airport last year. And yeah, we had a great hour there. It was excellent. I'd love to go back again.
What was the barrel aged one just recently up in Bright?
Barrel age at the Darker Days?
Yeah.
La Serena.
Oh, last
That's all,
Serena.
yeah.
I loved every
Those
beer
guys,
I had.
yes.
Those guys.
Can we
So
go
did we.
That was
Ben Spoke, Young Henry's and La Serena?
Yeah.
Those are our three breweries.
Yeah.
There's our festival.
I'm at this festival. Don't even worry about it. Oh, incredible.
You might struggle to get Tool, I reckon, that.
Oh,
I think so
no.
too. That's why I said stick to the Aussies.
Thanks for saying bands too. Like, I'm not ripping on other types of music, but I'm just glad no one just
How
said
about
some
Taylor Swift?
DJ that I hadn't heard of. Or
So I'm sorry, I had
Taylor
to put that out
Swift.
there.
I was on Ticketek trying to buy tickets for a Thornhill concert the other week. They're just an Australian metalcore band.
Yep.
It took me
Oh, yeah.
half an hour because everyone was trying to buy Taylor Swift tickets at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I went on to the tickets for that gig and it said, "Are you trying to buy Taylor Swift tickets?" I was like, "No, I'm not. Something else. Can you just go to the page I want to go to?" Sorry, we're
I must
digressing.
have been one of those people. I was
We
going
got
to
a
convince.
7-year-old. We got a 7-year-old.
Yeah, she really wants to go and see Taylor Swift, but I was going to try and pay someone to take her. Anyway,
Well, the important question, as we've all read about the Taylor Swift tickets, is did you actually get them?
no. I don't know anyone who did.
Oh, we have a disappointed 7-year-old, which is not something we like.
My 7-year-old was pretty sad about it. Took her
My-
to the movies instead. She was
Ah, there we
amazing.
go. That's something. Now, before, how could I possibly have nearly missed this? The last beer we're drinking. We were going to ask about this beer, not knowing we were going to have a chance to actually taste it.
Yeah.
So please talk us through. So what is it? Honeybird Coffee Collab. Is that right?
Yes.
That's right, yeah. So shout out to Ryan and Sandy at Honeybird Coffees. Lovely people, very enthusiastic and passionate about their coffees. Yeah. And
They're local in Mount Beauty. They roast everything here in Mount Beauty as well, and their coffee's amazing. And you can actually get it in Albury Wodonga as well.
Oh, nice.
So there's a few places that sell it.
Yep. Is it? There's the pub on Dean Street, the public house. Have Honeybird Coffee there too.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
And in Albury, in front of Kmart, there is a whole Honeybird sort of coffee shop area. Yeah.
The guys are just up the road. They're like a kilometre that way.
Yeah.
They're our go-to favourite anyway.
So we did a local business accommodation provider community group meet and greet back in March, was it, for a tasting and a brewery tour.
Yep.
Pretty much a number of businesses that have liquor licenses in Mount Beauty and say, hey, try a beer, this is our story. We're here to support and add to our local tourism industry and talk about us as well. Show them the brew house, and Ryan and Sandy were just absolutely loved our product, and they said, we'd love to collaborate with you guys. And I was, yes, for sure.
Oh, awesome.
Straight there on the spot, I thought, coffee beer, it's got to go with a milk stout. You get a sweeter dark beer with a coffee addition. Yeah, let's try that. And yeah, we've just been talking and working towards that. From now is we'll be on tap next week, and what you're sampling straight from the Bright Tank, which is the last
not 100%
first before kegging.
Carbonated,
Yeah, so it just needs a bit more carbonation, so it's going to be more carbonated.
Well, yeah, I can tell you what, I was... we often... Steph, you were talking about the smell of the hops and that sort of thing, and we often talk about the smell test of a beer, and like that's one of my favourite things. But yeah, I don't know if the camera would have caught it, but I put my nose in here before and I had a big smile on my face. It smells absolutely delicious.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's great.
That's a mild coffee strain, Velvet Assassin. So
How even better.
Isn't that Matthew Lloyd's nickname when he played footy? Oh, Velvet Sledgehammer.
You'd know for the Bombers, yeah.
No, absolutely delicious.
It's so roasty, and there's this almost like a lingering sort of mouthfeel, which might be and you say it's a milk stout. Does that mean it contains lactose?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it must be that. But yeah, it's just like a big coffee pot with a beautiful milk stout in the background. So that's awesome. I'm sure this will be a favourite. Now, again, us as novices asking people to brew beer, do you expect much of the taste of the beer at all to change once it has carbonated a little bit more and is on tap, or?
Yeah. So I suppose, what would you say, Mick? Like carbonation just brings out just a couple more flavours than you expect.
Yeah,
or
but
what
having
you
said
taste
that,
from
like
the wort.
a dark beer like that, you don't over-carbonate it. You know what I mean? It's got less carbonation than a pale ale or an IPA and things like that, so it's got a little bit less. But yeah, it sort of accentuates the flavour a little bit more, having the carbonation in it.
Awesome. Well, anyone listening, if you're in the local area, or if you're not and you're travelling down, make sure you get down here soon to sample this, because it's actually a really unique beer too, I must say. We try a lot of different beers, but there's a really unique flavour and taste to this, which is absolutely fantastic. So, and thank you for being generous enough to give us a sample as well. I'm not expecting it at all.
Welcome.
No, thank you. Now, just a couple more quick ones. I know obviously you guys are cricket fans. If you could pick a former and current Australian cricketer for a brew day, who would you have in here to help you out?
I can't answer that question. I don't know any cricketers, so they have to do that.
David Boone.
Yeah. You drink it all before it.
David Boone would be awesome.
He'd have some great stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, don't know.
Well, I've gone batsman.
Okay,
You got a bowl?
both of them maybe.
Yeah,
Does that have to be Australian?
No,
I reckon he'd be interesting.
Oh, for sure. I just think the stories from those two.
Yeah.
Especially cricket before analysis and coaches of coaches and so on.
When there's a lot more characters in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny because with cricket, for the outsider, there's seemingly, particularly Test cricket, which is my favourite form of cricket, but it doesn't seem.
Me too.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem there's much going on. But the stories that these people have, like if those walls could talk, there's a lot going on. So, no, that's very exciting. Yeah, Booney would, he'd probably drink you dry before you get a taste.
I reckon I wouldn't mind having a.
Did you see him interviewed at a lunch break?
Yes, I did
but-
too. Yeah. Still a character.
Oh dear. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of meeting Merv, and that's you would want him there. You would. He's just absolute scream.
I was in Hobart one night. I was in the Navy at the time, and all I remember out of the casino, he's running down the street with his fingers up. Show me the money. Show me the money. That's true story.
Cheeky
It's
fella.
hilarious.
Sounds like you. Cool. So I've probably got sort of a business sort of question. So where do you guys sort of see the brewery in 1 year time, 5 years time, and then 20 years time? I know that's tough.
Flying cars.
No, I think at the moment we're obviously concentrating on getting our product, a good product. Like I said, nice and clean product. I think in the next year we'll can a little bit more, and we'll start getting out there and going to get into local pubs and supermarkets and things like that, and hopefully, some kegs and stuff around the place.
Yep.
Eventually, we want to remain a independent, brewery. So, maybe, venturing into parts of Melbourne and then maybe even Sydney.
Yep.
But, I don't think we've thought too much past that.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'd like to see in 5 years' time we're really confident even more confident with our core range, but we've got some pretty funky ghost style beers and IPAs.
Stuff around the edges,
to complement those core range beers that people are enjoying right now. Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun to make different styles. When Punkies, we're doing the sour, it's like a big vibe in the brewery. We're doing a sour. This is going to be cool. It's like it's really fun to do that.
Yeah.
This beer's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We've had Honeybird Coffee we've been collaborating with, researched all different types of milk stouts from New Zealand and Australia to come up with this recipe. Yeah, so that'd be, I can see a little bit more of that happening.
Yeah, well, it
5 years.
tastes like a lot of fun as well. And I would have to say, as we mentioned in this region, there's probably a lot of people to collaborate with. Do you guys, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything like that, is there anyone in the region, like coffee, beer, wine, whoever that you would like to collaborate with, that you can see yourselves doing it down
I
the
don't
line?
think we limit ourselves to anybody. Like anybody, so like people approach us and it's like, yeah, no, that sounds cool. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind getting with some getting some barrel stuff from some wineries.
Yeah.
like trying something like
Yeah,
that.
great.
But but I don't think
I'll be keen on that.
we wouldn't limit ourselves to anything. We'll give anything a go.
Yeah, that's
I'd like
awesome.
to see when we got our barrel aged beer happening, a local distiller saying,
Yeah, distillery as well.
how about say with Ben Spoke how they had the Irish whiskey barrels,
Yeah.
brought over,
Yep.
and also it's been cool like Gather and Harvest.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Recently approached us about bringing out a like a male Father's Day cologne, beer style cologne. They do soaps and all sorts of products like that. Yeah.
That's cool. So the car air freshener wasn't too far off.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because what is it? What's the actual? Is it lupulin? Is that what it is in a hop? Is that what we're smelling?
Yeah.
I had to say it like
Nice
there you go. We are learning. It's only taken 50 episodes or whatever it is to learn. No, very good. Finally, have you guys got anything you want to tell us? Anything coming up? What's happening? What's getting canned next? I don't know.
Yeah, what's
Can
getting
next,
canned
that's
next?
Yeah, okay. So we've got to get the draft on cans because
nice.
locals are really enjoying that.
Yeah,
And a good intro into craft beers. And the Equinox IPA that you've got there.
Yeah, cool.
This is sitting in Fermenter 1 right now. That's all conditioning away for canning.
Yep.
So that's 2. Number 3, on Thursday we brewed the milk stout, ready to do the coffee edition later on this month in July, to can that one.
We're trying to do a passion fruit sour as
Yes.
well, but we're not sure we're going to get there. So it's 1st of August. We've sort of got to get cracking early this week to get it down in time. Like, we'll do it, and if it's ready, it's ready. If it's not, we won't do it. So we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, awesome.
But so we're looking at 4 varieties. We'll definitely have 3 extra varieties in cans, but we'll see how the passion fruit ferments out. Yeah. So,
That sounds super exciting. And that's awesome about all of them, the Equinox, I'm excited. I'm buying some. Thank you. That would be fantastic. Once again, thank you guys. This has been fantastic. And we're not just saying this because we're here, but if we didn't know you guys and we just happened to stumble across a brewery, we will be raving about the beers we've had today. They've been fantastic. So,
Awesome. That's nice to hear. And thanks for coming down, guys.
Yes, thank you for coming all the way here.
no, of course. No, thank you.
Really appreciate
It's
it.
been absolutely awesome. So, anyone that's, whether you're in the area or not, if you can get down to the West Peak Hotel, grab your Mountain Monk beers, please visit the guys. They're obviously very friendly and accommodating as well. And that's the cool small town country vibe you're going to get, but you're also going to get some world-class beers. So, thanks, guys. This has been bloody awesome.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thanks, gents.
Thank you.